Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching this presentation today. My name is Stephanie Ng, and I'm the CSU Peace Corps Campus Recruiter. Today, I'll give you a very brief overview of the Peace Corps, what it is, some of the opportunities that are available within the Peace Corps, and some of the benefits of joining. So the Peace Corps is a post-graduation service opportunity for motivated individuals looking to tackle some of the world's most pressing challenges while integrating into a new culture and working alongside local leaders. So the Peace Corps was founded on the mission to promote world peace and friendship by fulfilling 3 goals: to help the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women, to promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of people served, and to promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. So that first goal is really about providing technical assistance and supporting people in other countries in various sectors depending on their needs. And the last 2 is really about cultural exchange. So we send volunteers to a variety of countries, not only to support them in different technical sectors, but also just to expose people from other countries to Americans and also have Americans bring knowledge of other countries back to promote within the US. Just a few statistics on the demographics of current volunteers or past volunteers. There are actually only 2 main requirements for anyone to apply, and that's to be a US citizen and at least 18 years old. There might be some additional requirements depending on the different programs and the specific technical sectors. Usually that includes a bachelor's degree or a certain number of years of experience within that sector. But the US citizenship and 18 years old are the really baseline requirements to apply for a program. We most recently had over 7,000 volunteers around the world, and to date have had over 225,000 volunteers serving in about 141 countries. And the volunteers have ranged anywhere from 20 years old to 86 years old. I would say the majority of volunteers still fall within the 20s, 30s age range, but we do have a fair number of mid-career volunteers as well as a good number of retired volunteers. So there are actually a few Peace Corps programs. I will mostly be speaking to the first one here, Peace Corps Volunteer, and that's a 2-year program, technically 27 months total, with 3 months of training. And that is for anyone who is a US citizen and over 18 years of age. And then there's the Peace Corps Response. And these are shorter assignments geared towards people who have already done Peace Corps or highly skilled professionals. So the requirements for Peace Corps response positions tend to be much higher. And if you haven't done Peace Corps before, but they do require a certain number of years of experience, specifically doing those assignments. And then there's the Global Health Service Partnership, which is geared towards physicians and nurses with active US licenses. But I will be mostly concentrating on the Peace Corps Volunteer 2-year program experience. So this is just a list of countries where you can serve. This does change every once in a while, but yeah, for the most part, most of our volunteers serve, I would say, about 45% within Africa, and maybe 17 or 15% in the Latin America region, and another 15 or so percent within Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and a sprinkling elsewhere as well. So these are the 6 main program area concentrations: agriculture, youth and development, education, environment, health, and community economic development. So when you apply to the Peace Corps, you apply for a specific program area and a region. So in my case, I was an environmental education volunteer in Nicaragua. And so my program area concentration was mainly environment, but also overlapped quite a bit with education. And in addition to your main program area or your main job, you'll also have secondary projects, which can match other interests that you have, or it's mostly based on what your community will need. So some of the reasons for choosing Peace Corps, I personally found it to be an incredibly formative experience that shaped me professionally and personally. It is a great structured opportunity to gain a lot of independence and a lot of experience running, really developing and then implementing grassroots-driven programs. And you immerse yourself in an entirely new culture. It's a 2-year program, and the first year is really focused on building relationships within your community so that you can do effective work in the second year. And so there's a lot of opportunities to really push yourself and challenge yourself, both professionally and personally. And I think a lot of those skills are really applicable to any field that you pursue. So just a brief overview of my experience and to give you a little idea of what Peace Corps might be like. Like I mentioned before, I was an environmental education volunteer in Nicaragua between 2013 and 2015. And so the Peace Corps volunteer program begins with 3 months of in-country training. And that includes cultural immersion training, language training, and other training on skills specifically for your technical sector. So in my case, we did trainings on implementing environmental projects like school gardens, tree nurseries, composting within schools, and recycling projects and things like that. In addition to just gaining facilitation skills and kind of training skills and how to put on different trainings for teachers. And, you know, like I said, you kind of have your main project. For me, I was teaching science classes and integrating environmental education within the school curriculum. But I would also have side projects, secondary projects like English classes, youth groups that weren't necessarily always tied to environmental education. So in my youth group, we definitely did do environmental education, but that wasn't the, only focus of what we would do. And, you have your 3 months of training, but then you are assigned to a site within your country of service. And you are there for the remainder of your 2 years, working to implement the projects and all of the knowledge that you gain during training. So some of the benefits during Peace Corps include a living stipend. And so your living stipend is commensurate with that of, a local community salary. So my salary was probably comparable to that of the local teachers. You are provided housing. So Peace Corps will set you up with some housing options. The first year I lived with the host family, and then the second year I also lived with the host family, but in a little side house. So there's different housing situations that you can be in. Then there's also medical and dental coverage. So Peace Corps does provide you with, all the medical care that you'll need within country, and they are available 24/7 for any issues that you might experience. And all of that is covered, including prescriptions and things like that. So there's student loan deferment and cancellation. So if you have federal loans, and it is a little bit different with each type of loan that you have, whether it's private or federal, but various loans do qualify for deferment, which means you can participate in the Peace Corps and not make payments on that loan until after you're done with the program, and you won't accrue penalties or interest during that time frame. So that's a really great benefit if you do have loans and are thinking of opportunities to go abroad, but won't be able to pay a loan during that time period. And there are some programs that actually allow you to cancel some student loans for being in public service for a certain number of years. And like many other jobs, you also get vacation time. You accrue vacation time on a monthly basis, and you're able to use that really however you'd like. I used it mostly to travel within country. Lots of volunteers use that to, plan vacation with their family around the holidays and see friends and family around the world. So that's really up to you, just to take time off. There are a multitude of career skills and trainings, not only in that initial 3-month training period, but also in the middle of service and towards the end of service. And then there's some of the benefits after training as well. So when you're done with your Peace Corps service, you receive a little more than $8,000 in transition funds. And that is, you can do whatever you would like with that. There are graduate school benefits that I'll get into in just a little bit. There's a lot of networking and career services. I would say returned Peace Corps volunteers have a super strong community in the US, and you can find returned Peace Corps volunteer communities pretty much in every state. And they're always really open and willing to give advice or help you with your job search, or just to hang out and see who's around. There's federal employment advantages that I'll also explain in just a couple of slides. And there's the public service loan forgiveness. So like I said before, certain loans might qualify for public service loan forgiveness, which requires you to work a certain number of years in public service. And there's also health insurance opportunities after the Peace Corps. So some of the graduate school benefits, if you are thinking about going to graduate school and needing to finance that, there's a lot of fellowship programs, and we have partner programs with over 200 universities in the US. So if you go to the Peace Corps website, you can take a look at some of our partner universities and programs specifically that we work with and what type of aid they provide. So the scholarships with our partner universities really do depend, but there's a lot of really great programs there in a variety of sectors. So I myself am a Coverdell Fellow here at CSU, working on my master's in conservation leadership. And so, my tuition is, I'm supported through Peace Corps Coverdell funds, basically. And a little bit of the federal working benefits. So after Peace Corps, you receive what we call non-competitive eligibility, or NCE. And this basically just makes it easier for federal agencies to hire returned volunteers because they know you've met a certain minimum qualifications from being a Peace Corps volunteer. So if you go to the USA Jobs website, which is where all federal jobs are posted, you'll basically get a leg up and be qualified for certain positions, and you'll get a slight advantage from having non-competitive eligibility. So if you can apply to public jobs, and you'll also be looked at first with your non-competitive eligibility, but you can also apply to other jobs that might not be open to the public, and that might be only available for returned Peace Corps volunteers or AmeriCorps volunteers. And if you're looking into working in the international sector or international development, Peace Corps is a really great foray into that world. I think it gives you a lot of, field work experience and on-the-ground experience in an international context, which is really pretty much immediately applicable to other jobs within the international development sector. So these are just a few of the many companies, agencies that you could, join afterwards. And so, like I said, there's, really a multitude of sectors and options for volunteer openings, and you can explore the volunteer openings at peacecorps.gov/openings. There's really everything from health to environment to agriculture. Like STEM teachers are also very much needed around the world, as well as literacy teachers. So there's openings for really any interest, and I do feel like you can apply the skills that you gain during Peace Corps to any field that you try to pursue afterwards. And if you have any additional questions, that's my contact information. I do hold office hours every Tuesday between 10 and 12 p.m. in Laurel Hall. You do have to make an appointment regardless of whether it's inside those office hours or outside those office hours. But I am available pretty much at least a little bit every day. So if you have other questions, or if you want to start taking a look at more information on the Peace Corps, there's 2 links down there. One to the main Peace Corps page, and also the other one to the Peace Corps page under CSU's Education Abroad page. And so there you'll actually find all my contact information as well if you want to set up an appointment to discuss specific opportunities further. But thank you so much, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.